Joining us live now, House Financial Services Committee member, Wisconsin Congressman Bryan Steil. Congressman, it's fantastic to see you. The only way that you can control this fraud when you have these left-wing lunatics running these states and localities is starving the beast. And the One Big Beautiful Bill did at least take some steps to do that very thing, modest reforms. States have to verify Medicaid eligibility twice a year. States are on the hook for the share of improper food stamp payments. What else?
Well, this is what the problem is we have individuals that are unethical, engage in illegal behaviors like we are seeing here in the state of Minnesota. We also have to recognize that the underlying programs are susceptible to this type of abuse. The reforms that we made in the One Big Beautiful Bill takes significant steps to prevent this type of abuse from occurring in the first place. Takes and makes the states have some skin in the game as it relates to food stamps. We should be a generous country, but we should be watching how every tax dollar is spent. And when you see this type of illegal and unethical behavior, those individuals need to be held to the fullest extent of the law.
Yep. See, Dagan, that's what Wisconsin Smart looks like. I went to Marquette, so I understand it. What can the state of Wisconsin or other states learn from what's happening in Minnesota? I have to imagine that everybody's looking under every cover, trying to make sure they're not the next Minnesota.
The simplest example is do not elect a unified Democratic government in your state, where we say, don't Minnesota my Wisconsin. What you don't want is a group of Democrats who are committed to just simply getting money out the door. Democrats often measure the success of their welfare programs by how much they're spending, not by the end results. If the metrics were put in place to determine, are we actually lowering poverty? Are we improving children's education? Are less children hungry? It would have been obvious that this money was being wasted. But instead, the Democrats in Minnesota were measuring their programs by how much money was being spent. So they were saying, aha, we spent $100 million last year, and this year we spent $200 million. We're doing twice as well. Conservatives want to measure the programs by their outputs, not by their inputs. We have an opportunity here to make significant reforms on the programs to prevent this type of abuse, but we also need to make a lesson of everyone across this country that thinks that they are going to steal taxpayer dollars by abusing these programs, by holding these individuals accountable and making sure that they are spending time in prison thinking about what they were doing to the American taxpayer.
Yep, time behind bars and the Who scale, that sends one heck of a message. I'm going to cede this topic. This is about the ban on stock trading by people in Congress, because Marcus is even more fired up than I am about it. Because I haven't owned individual securities of any kind since I became a professional 30 some odd years ago. And there's no hardship in not being able to trade stocks.
Yeah, so just as a reminder, right, any public company has a board and officers that are prohibited because they have material non-public information. What would be a reason that any congressperson would not want to sign the petition to ban people from trading stocks? What would be a reason they would not want to do it?
I chair the Committee on House Administration, and we are taking this up. We had a hearing on this exact topic just a couple weeks ago, and I'm of the belief that we can introduce legislation that can not only garner some support, but can actually pass the House and be signed into law.
What's wrong with the discharge petition that's in front of you today?
I'm fine if we go that route, but I think we actually have an opportunity to tighten it down further. I think we have an opportunity for full disclosure in the trades. A lot of the misinformation and some of the correct information about what is wrong with Congress is the fact that these reports are done in increments. If we give actual factual information to the American people about trades outside of individual stocks, I think we have a huge opportunity. When we look at the public company and public company sector that are preventing the abuse of individuals from gaining profits from insider information, I think we could reform the system dramatically in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, so I would imagine that your debate, if you were debating, let's say Dagan was opposed to signing it, your argument would be, we have information that other people don't necessarily have. It's not a fair fight. Would that be a good start?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable take. What we want to do is make sure that we're still in a position to bring people into Congress who have successful business backgrounds, prevent them from trading and profiting off of insider information, prevent them from day trading. I'm of the belief if you want to make a living trading stocks, there's a place for that, and it's called Wall Street, not Capitol Hill. And so we have an opportunity to prevent members of Congress, elected officials, from profiting off of insider information and building back the trust in Congress.
Because yesterday I was on Maria's show, and I had a congressman from Arkansas that said he would not be in support. A Republican congressman said, I would not be in support of signing the document because I need to be able to make a living.
Well, I think it's less about, no one should be profiting off of insider information, period, full stop. And I think we have an opportunity to reform the laws in the House of Representatives and the United States Senate to make sure that that's the case, to prevent individuals from day trading stocks, profiting off of insider information. And I think there's an opportunity to not just have that legislation gain public notoriety, but to actually take this legislation and get it all the way across the floor of the United States House of Representatives. I've been working with my colleagues to do just that.
The former congressman from Wisconsin, now Secretary of Transportation, and my former co-anchor, always argued that the rank and file in Congress don't have access to material non-public information, that they have access to what is already in the public sphere, and it is a burden. He would argue, but bigger picture, if the American people want this, how quickly can you ban it?
Well, I think we could be there in the weeks ahead. I think there's an opportunity, but even if that argument is true, that representatives don't have technical inside information, the appearance of impropriety is so important to prevent.
I concur.
I'm glad to know you support it.
2 words, Nancy Pelosi. Congressman Bryan Steil, great to see you, sir.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.